Well, welcome to Hometown Television, Hamilton County TV. Today we're at Hamilton Southeastern, and we're talking to Coach Satterfield. Welcome, Coach.
Hi, how we doing?
Good. Let's talk a little bit about boys basketball is getting ready to start. We just interviewed Coach Heppenthal just now, and he's already 7 games in the season, but you guys are just now getting started.
We just barely have 7 practices in. I think today is number 13. So I mean, it's we got a game tomorrow. The toughest thing is trying to get everything in and get ready for that first game.
Yeah, that's the one thing about high school basketball is when you start and when you have to make your cuts come pretty quick. So it doesn't give you much time.
No, I mean, and we do some things in the summer to help us get ready, but the toughest thing is you wish you had about at least another week to help get ready for that game, because you have some that play in a fall sport and different things like that. Some can't be with all the stuff that you do in the summer, and just having that time to get everybody ready and don't feel rushed, so you got every chance to get everything that you want to get in. I mean, we feel like we wish we had a little bit more time just for those special situations that we don't think our guys would probably be ready for. Hopefully we don't have to deal with them.
Yeah. One thing, Coach, let's talk about this year's team, because you have an experienced team. I think I counted up you have 6 seniors and I know 7 seniors. So and then you have Zach Gunn, who is coming back for his 47th. No, I'm just kidding. He's played for you a long time.
Not the first person who said that. Everybody keeps saying he's been around for 10 years. But no, I mean, thing is, we got a really good senior group, and I think it's a group that the chemistry has been really good, and we see that so far. And I mean, Zach's our leader. He was a junior all-star last year, been a starter for 3 years, and I mean, he's got to be the guy that's our leader. And the thing that he does is what he does on the boards. I think that's one of the special things, averaging a double-double his sophomore year, almost a double-double last year, and we're going to expect him to be big on the boards on top of everything else that he does. Then some other guys that are seniors that are more of our vocal leaders, Jack Davidson and Connor Rodman. Both of those guys shot over 40% from last year from three-point range, so we're expecting them to come out and try and do the same thing. But for them, it's that leadership this year. I think that's going to have to be a key thing for them, to be vocal leaders along with Zach, to help us keep everybody on the same page as we're moving forward. And I think that's one of the challenges we got for this group, is when things are going well, good, but when things start to unravel a little bit, let's have that senior leadership group us together and move forward. Then other seniors that had some varsity experience last year, Aaron Shank is there. He's a guy that can come in off the bench and provide us. He just understands what he needs to do in all those situations. We've got Jack Habegger, Zach Munchner, and then Austin Holzum. Holzum last year was a starter for us. Played a key role in that upset when we beat LC last year, and then got mono and just wasn't able to continue throughout the year. Probably tried to come back a little bit too early, and just never was back to himself. And so, I mean, from those 7 guys, I mean, we feel like we've got a good core right there, and a group that does things the right way and leads by example. Then our other two guys that could be starting are going to be sophomores. 2 guys that played varsity for us as a freshman, Aaron Etherington and Noah Smith. Both of those guys have really improved their game, and especially Aaron has improved at what he does at the defensive end, and Noah's really improved his shooting. So, I mean, those 2 things are sort of helping our group as we move forward. And then we've got some juniors. Jerron Bond is a player that transferred from LN. He's got another gear, something that we haven't had, and it's special to watch him go and try and just move the ball down the floor. Sometimes we're trying to get him to understand not always to force things, but he's really a great addition to our roster. Chaz Birchfield is another junior that has really started to improve. The thing was we were always trying to get him to play hard and do some things, and I think he's really made some great strides, and we're looking for some big things from him. And then we've got a freshman, or another junior, Nick Bowman. He's a guy that another guard, and one thing is we feel like we're probably about 13 deep. Unfortunately, we can't play all 13 guys at the varsity level, and we've got some guys that, and he's one that he can shoot the ball, He does a great job applying defense and just looking for some great things for him. And then I'm sure everybody's always curious about as they hear the 7-footer, Mabor. So he's one that you see he's 7 foot, but he can run the floor. He's got good touch. He can shoot it and do some things. He's just working on getting that strength better. And fortunately, with the depth that we have, we don't have to rush him in, but we're hoping that he can do some good things for us by the end of the year.
Now, the freshman, will he see some time on the JV or just on the varsity level?
Yes, I mean, early on, we're definitely going to split some time with him. He just needs to get as many minutes as possible. I mean, that's the main thing for him. And one, we can do it where he's going to be one of the main focuses while he's out there on the floor in a JV game. And when he comes into our game, he'll be out there to complement some of the things that we're trying to do.
Yeah, and one of the great things, and of course, you're in your 16th season here, and you've had great success in this program. You're very, very blessed to be here at Hamilton Southeastern and play the caliber of basketball teams that you play, and being in the Hoosier Crossroad Conference, which is never easy. And nobody really plays an easy schedule in the non-conference games anymore because it's all about tournament time.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to benefit you. Our tournament is always one of the toughest. I mean, we had that stretch where it was definitely the toughest one in the state. Now it's probably one of the top 3. But, I mean, that one year, I mean, we had number 1, number 3, number 5 in the same sectional. Number 1 and number 2 played opening night. So, but, I mean, it is what it is. And to be ready for that sectional and some of the teams in it, you've got to challenge yourself to make sure that you're ready for it. And that's what we're doing. And we're going to start out with a good team at Muncie Central that'll be challenging, and then got a conference game against Avon, and then we're going to travel to over to Ohio and play a team. Don't know a lot about them. I do know they have a 6'6" player that's going to Evansville. So, I mean, they've got some talking to the assistant coach at Ball State. He's from there, so he gave me a little lowdown. So I think they're going to be pretty good, which is good competition. And then that following weekend, we're going to play North Central and Fort Wayne Schneider, 2 guys that have Mr. Basketball capability. So little nice stretch to start our first 5 games.
Absolutely. And, you know, the one thing about it, Coach, the way basketball's set up now that with you being able to work with the kids in June and July, and then they go and play AAU ball, it's not unusual for teams now to have freshmen and sophomores that can play varsity basketball. Because I can remember back in my day, which in Brad's day when it was many, many years ago, you may have a very, very talented freshman and sophomore, but when you put him on the floor in a varsity and in front of a packed gym, the first few games they had that deer in the headlight, and these kids today don't have that.
No, I mean, they get that experience. They get out to see that quality talent. I mean, you've got all these special camps that they have, the top 100 camps. Under Armour puts it on, Nike puts it on. Some of our guys get invited to those types of camps, and that puts them in that competition level where they're competing against the best competition in their class all the time. And so from that standpoint, they're sort of ready for it. At the same time, the biggest thing is, I think the biggest adjustment is always the physicality. If they're ready for the physicality of it, then they're probably ready to go. And I think that was a big thing for Noah last year as a freshman. He was ready for it. Aaron, it took him a while, and then the second half of the year, I think he stepped up. But the biggest thing is both of them have made the adjustment, and I think they're ready to go, and that's why they're going to be in the starting lineup for game 1.
Yeah, and the one thing about it, I'm very blessed to see all of Hamilton County teams play quite a bit. So, you know, and you're right about those 2 freshmen that you brought along and try to bring them along as slow as possible. But whenever the need comes along, but those type of kids made huge strides, and I'm sure they've made huge strides over the summer. And like you said, this is a veteran senior team that, you know, this is a team game like we talked.
Yeah, and I think that's I compare this team sort of to the team that we had about 3 years ago. We were senior dominated. We had a lot of guys back. We had a mixture of a little bit of youth that could help us complement, and that was Zach's freshman year where he came in. And the main reason why he played as a freshman was because what he could do on the boards. Between that and being able to shoot the ball and help spread the floor for us. And I think that's one thing that we feel special about this group. We got a lot of depth, which because of that, we may try and push the ball, which may be a little bit more exciting for the fans. I'm sure they'll appreciate that. But at the same time, we feel like we've got the depth and we've got guys that can help spread the floor. And that's what we had that particular year, is multiple guys who could step out and be able to knock down the three, along with being able to put the ball on the floor. And the thing I think that we were sort of missing the past couple of years was sort of that lockdown defender. And I think we've got several guys that can sort of step up in that role. Holzem, now that he's back being healthy, he can be one of them. Noah Smith he tried to take on that challenge last year. I think he's better suited for that this year. And then Jerron Bond, who transferred from Ellen, I think he's another player could step in. So we've got some guys like that anytime you can do something to help slow down the team's best player, along with some of the things that hopefully we can do at the offensive end, looks promising.
Well, Coach, if you don't mind, probably early January, I'll come back and we'll talk. You'll have a few games under your belt. You and I can talk about how things are going, and maybe we'll talk about some of the things that you predicted here at the beginning and see how they're working out. But I appreciate you taking time out to interview here today and talk to us on Hamilton County TV.
I appreciate it. Thanks for coming out, and look forward to talking to you again.
Thank you. Well, we'll see you on tomorrow night, because I'll be doing the Carmel Noblesville girls basketball game at the Mill. So, and we got quite a few games coming up here on Wednesday and a doubleheader on Saturday. So, plenty of basketball to watch, and I really do appreciate all the coaches in Hamilton County coming on the show here and talking about their team and talking about their student athletes, because that's what it's all about. Thanks a lot.